So in last lecture we discussed about machine cycle, and we have discussed about two pins of microcontroller, that is pin number 18 and 19, which are connected to crystal oscillator, which is used to generate the clock signals. And we also discussed about one reset pin, which is used to reset microcontroller. Now we also discussed that 8051 microcontroller is a 40 pin IC. So today now we will see the various pins of 8051 microcontroller. This is a microcontroller 8051. Or we will draw it here, somewhat bigger size. So this is our 8051 microcontroller. We will draw the notch also. So in this microcontroller, there are 4 ports. So in total there are 4 ports. Now each port is of 8 pins. So each port is of 8 pins. And these 4 ports are named as port 0, port 1, port 2 and port 3. And in short, you can call this port as P0, P1, P2 and P3. So in total there are 4 ports. Now each port is of 8-bit port. This means there are 8 pins in each port. So in total there are 4 ports. So we will draw these ports like this. These are bidirectional. So this is port 0. So with these ports acts as input port or output port. So as a programmer or as a developer of certain system, you can use any pin of any of these ports as an input port or output port. So if suppose we want to connect one switch, right? We want to connect one switch with this microcontroller. Then we can, out of these 4 ports, we can use any one pin of any port to connect that switch like this. So this is switch. This is one resistor, and this we have connected to VCC. This is one resistor, and suppose 1 kilo ohm resistor we have connected. So now we know that switch is an input device, because whatever is the value of this switch, its value can be 1 plus binary 1, and once when we press the switch, then in that case its value will be 0. So the value of the switch will be either 0 or 1. So through some pin, that value will enter inside this microcontroller. So we can connect this switch with any of the pin of any of these ports. So all of these 4 ports can act as input or output port. Now here, so this is our port 0, and now if you want to connect a LED, so LED is an output device. So we can connect one LED like this this LED we can connect to one pin. Now this pin will act as now output pin. If we have connected one LED to certain pin, in that case that pin must act as output pin because we have connected one output device. If we have connected one switch with certain pin of the port, then that particular pin must act as input pin because switch is an input device. So we can program a pin as an input pin or an output pin. So all the ports can be programmed as input or output. That's why here I have just shown the bidirectional port, this side and this side both. So this is port 0 and this side we will find port 1. Here we have port 1. Then here we have, so these port 0, there will be 8 pins of the port 0. There will be 8 pins of port 1 and this is port 2. There will be 8 pins of port 2 and this side you will find port 3. So I am drawing these ports exactly in the same way how these ports are appeared in the IC. So if you take this IC from this notch, here you will find pin number 1 and up to this pin number 20. From here pin number 21 and up to here pin number 40. So this side you will find port 1 and port 3. 8 pins of port 1 and 8 pins of port 3. And this side you will find 8 pins of port 0 and 8 pins of port 2. Okay. Now, apart from these ports, we know that there is a pin for VCC, there is a pin for ground, there are 2 pins for crystal, for the connection of crystal, XTAL2 and XTAL1, and there is 1 pin for reset, right? Now apart from these, now total how many pins we have already shown? 8 pins of port 0, 8, 8, 16, 8, 24 and 8, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. And now 3 pins are remaining, and these 3 pins you will find here, and these pins are PSEN bar. This is called as program store enable. Another pin is ALE. Then another pin is EA bar. So ALE is address latch enable. Address latch enable. And EA bar is external access. E is external, A means access. External access. So now these are total 40 pins. These 3 pins are used when we are using external code memory or external data RAM. So in one of the lecture we already discussed that with the microcontroller, of course obviously they are having inbuilt, this one is having inbuilt 4 KB code memory and 128 bytes RAM. But there is a provision to connect external code memory. and external data RAM. So if we are using external code memory and external data RAM, in that case these three pins will be used. So they are used when external memory is connected to microcontroller. So we will discuss about these pins afterward. And now these four ports, in these four ports, first thing, port number 1 is exclusive for I/O operation. So port 1 exclusive for I/O means these 8 pins of port 1 is used only for either connecting input devices or connecting output devices. It is not having any other purpose. Whereas the remaining 3 ports, port 0, port 2 and port 3, this and this, they are having dual function. So they are having dual function. They can be used under 2 different conditions. So first function of these ports are, all of these 3 ports can be used for I, just like port 1. If you want to connect input or output devices, you can connect with port 0 or port 3 or port 2 or port 1. But apart from I/O operation, these 3 ports are having some other function also. So what are the other function of these ports? That that we will discuss. So one thing, you just make it clear, port 0, port 2 and port 3 can be used as I/O or other function. Now port 0 and port 2. Port 0 and port 2. The other function of port 0 and port 2 is when we are having an external memory, when we have connected external memory, in that case we have to use port 0 and port 3 also. Right? So port 0 and port 3 used with external memory. So if we are having external memory, then we have to use port 0 and port 2. And in that case, if we are using port 0 and port 2 for external memory, in that case we cannot use port 0 and port 2 for I/O operation to connect our input or output devices. So the dual function of port 0 and port 2 is, it is used with external memory. So we will discuss about those things later on. So with external memory we require port 0 and port 2, as well as we require these 3 signals also. So that we will discuss in other lecture. And port 3, the pins of these ports are having 8 pins. So these pins are defined like this. Suppose we are talking about port 3. Port 3 pin number 0, port 3 pin number 1. Like this we just give the name to these pins, and 8th pin will be port 3 pin number 7. So in total there are these 8 pins. So if we want to access any individual pin, then we have to use this name. Suppose you want to access pin number 1 of port 3, then we have to use this name. Or we want to access pin number 7 of port 3, then this is, we have to use P3.7. Actually pin number 7 does not mean it is pin number 7, it is 8th pin. Since pin number starts from 0, that's why pin number 7 will be your 8th. So we can use these names, or if we are using simple this name P3, then this indicate we are using all the 8 pins in our program. So if you will use P3 name, this indicates all the 8 pins are used. And if you are using any single pin name, then only that pin will be utilized. So in this way, and regarding all other pins, we will follow same name pattern. For example, P2.0, P2.1 like this, P2.7, P1.0, P1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 like this, P1.7, and P0.0. 0.0 means port 0 pin number 0, port 0 pin number 1. Like this, the last pin of port 0 will be port 0 pin number 7. So this is the 8th pin. So in this way, there are 8 pins for port 3, there are 8 pins for port 2, there are 8 pins of port 1, and there are 8 pins of port 0. So in total, 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 32 pins. 1 pin VCC, 1 pin ground. So plus 2 is 34 pins. 1 pin is RST, 1 crystal 1, 2 crystal 1, 3 pins. Plus 3 is 37. And program store enable, address latch enable, and external access, these 3 pins. So add these 3, this is 40. In this way, there are total 40 pins. So regarding the dual function of port 0 and port 2, we will discuss in other class. And here we will just discuss about the dual function of port 3. So in port 3, we are having these pins P3.0, P3.1, P3.2, P3.3, P3.4, P3.5, P3.6 and P3.7. These are the 8 pins of port 3. So in these 8 pins of the port 3, pin number 3.0 is also designated as RXD, and 3.1 is TXD. So during the serial communication, these pins are used. So this is the dual function of pin number 3.0 and 3.1. So while receiving a data serially, data will be received from RXD pin. And if this controller is sending data serially, then at that time this pin will act as output pin, and you can send data serially through RXD pin. So TXD, transmission. RXD means reception. So these pins are used in serial communication. So when we will discuss about serial communication, at that time we will discuss in detail about these 2 pins. Pin number 3.2 and 3.3, they are also designated as INT0 bar, INT1 bar. So these 2 pins are used for external interrupt. So external interrupt means through this pin INT0 we can apply a pulse. With the application of that pulse, whatever your controller is executing at that particular moment, controller will be interrupted and it will stop, and it will execute some other task related to this pin. And if controller with the application of some pulse through INT1, then again controller will be interrupted, means whatever it is doing, it will stop doing that, and it will go and it will execute the instructions for this particular interrupt. So when we will discuss about the interrupt, at that time we will discuss in detail about these pins. Now pin number 3.4 and 3.5, they are written as T0 and T1. So they are used for timer. So we know that in case of 8051 controller there are two timers, inbuilt timer. So to provide the clock for those timers, for timer number 1 we can provide clock via this line, this pin, and for timer number 1 we can provide the clock through this pin. So these two pins are used for the application of the clock pulse for the timers. So when we will discuss about the timers, at that time we will discuss about these timers. Now pin number 3.6 and 3.7. 3.6 is write bar and 3.7 is read bar. So these two pins are used with external memory. So in our, I think, first lecture or second lecture, we discussed that there is a timing and control unit in a microcontroller, and that timing and control unit generates various signals like read and write type of signals. So these signals are used to read the content of external memory or write the content in external memory. So these pins can be used, will be used when we are using external memory only. So these are the dual function of port 3. All the 8 pins of the port 3 are having different functions, right? So when we will discuss these particular things like serial communication, external interrupt and timer, at that time we will discuss in detail about these pins. And in next lecture we will discuss about how we interface the external memory with this microcontroller. At that time we will come to know what is the application of these signals, what are the application of these signals, and how port 0 and port 2 are having dual function. So that we will see in next lecture.